Okay, so well done. What we're going to do now in this tutorial is get the bird to fly. Alright, so when we press a certain button on the keyboard, it will fly towards the pigs and of course the towers. Now, what I'm going to do is same format as usual. I'm going to show you the pseudocode for this. It's a little bit more complicated than you'd be used to. Alright, and now this is the pseudocode for what we've done so far. Now we need to add on to this part of our program another if statement where if the key spacebar is pressed, then do the following. Okay, so let's just hide the other one, and it's this part here that you need to put in. So if key spacebar is pressed, then repeat until touching edge, move 10 steps. Maybe worth going up to this point, okay, move 10 steps and practice and just pressing the green flag to see what happens, and then continue with the video tutorials for a little explanation of the next command which you'll be unfamiliar with, and also this final part here. But if you're happy with all of that, then you go ahead. Okay, so here are the blocks that I thought I would show you to begin with. And if you'd like to try and put these together, you could pause and do that now, or just maybe continue watching. We'll put these together and we'll just have a practice run to see what happens here. So we're going to put another, oops, not in there, just into the bottom here. So we've got our third if statement here. And we're saying if somebody presses the space bar, okay, what we want to happen is we want it to repeat the next command until the angry bird is touching the edge of the stage. So keep doing the next part of the program until he hits the edge of the stage here somewhere, so anything around the edge. So we're going to repeat, and we're just going to move him 10 steps. So let's have a practice to see what happens in our program now. So I can point the bird in the direction I'd like him to travel, and when I press the space bar, you can see that the bird flies off and he keeps moving 10 steps until he hits the edge. Now you probably see a few problems with this already, and that is that one, he moves in a straight line, and that's not very realistic because of course birds fly, and in the Angry Birds game that you're probably familiar with, he flies at a curve. So when you shoot him out, he goes up with some momentum and then he starts to fall away and is brought back down to earth with gravity. So we want to add that in, but also we need to add something into our program that he doesn't just get stuck up there on the edge. We want him to actually disappear when he hits the edge, then of course return back to the catapult whilst we still have some birds remaining. Okay, so if you want to go and implement this now, I suggest you do pause the video here and then come back to the next step, which will work on actually creating a curve. Okay, now you can see here that we've done this part of our pseudocode. Now the next one is to turn our bird in the sin of direction. Now in order to do this, we need to put in a mathematical operator, but we need our move, and we want to turn our bird. So I'm going to put my turn in here. Then we want to put in a operator here. Now a lot of mathematical operators we can pop in here, and we're going to, instead of our 15 degrees there, we're going to drop. At the moment it's on square root, but we're going to put in a sine wave. Now a sine wave is a way of making a curve, a more natural curve in our game, and getting our bird to turn in a curve rather than turn in a complete direction. And we want him to turn in the direction of, okay, so we're going to go and get from our motion in the direction of direction, so whatever direction he is facing at that particular point. Okay, so now maybe if we just pressed play here now, you can see my Angry Bird will return back to here. I can point in the direction I'd like him to be fired in, press the spacebar, and you can see that he will turn, okay, much more at an angle. Now I've gone too high on that one maybe. Let's start again. So if I put it facing more there, you can see that he really does curve around a little bit more. Press start, point him in this direction, and you can see that we are getting that much more natural curve in our game. So what I'd suggest you do is to pause the video here now and get this part set up. Okay, the final part then is to add here, outside of our repeat, we want to reduce the number of birds left variables. We want to -1 from that. Then we want to go back to the original position of the bird in the catapult and point in the direction of 90. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let you have a go at doing that now, so you can pause and pop that into your program. If not, continue watching for the rest of this tutorial. Okay, so again, outside of the repeat here, we want to add in the sort of final part to the program, which is going to, and I'll just give you the blocks first of all. So we're going to variables, and we want to change a variable, the bird's left variable, and we want to change that by something, and we want to point in direction, and we also want to go to a certain X and Y. So see if you can put these blocks in the right position, bearing in mind what the pseudocode is here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just pop in our okay, so we're going to change that. It's not in the repeat, but it is in the if here. So we're going to have birds left to -1, and then we're going to point in the direction of 90, and then we want it to go to our original. So our original is up here, -192, and our Y is -81. Okay, so when I press play now, I can point my bird in the right direction, press spacebar. Now, see what happens when it hit the edge this time. It's reduced the number of birds left and returned our Angry Bird back to the starting position. So now when I choose a direction and fire him, he's now gone back, but he's gone back here to 1. So it's going to reduce each one every time. Now that's quite a lot to do, so take your time, and if you need to just check again with your code, come back to the video at any point and just check to make sure that you've got this right.